in the book of Acts, we're seeing that, you look at where we started, and it's like these guys are pursuing God. Like that's their priority. And unless that becomes our priority, it will not be our passion. Pursuit and pursuit. And a lot of you don't know, we don't say a lot of things about this, but I just saw, even this morning, it was so cool to see Dakota. He traveled from Michigan a few weeks ago, said, Lord, he wants to be part of this church. Ted and his wife, Mercy, I see from Arizona, drove last night from Arizona. Why? Others, Florida, there's why? One word and one word only, pursuit. That church is pursuing God. And God, we don't ever want to lose that. There's an incredible spiritual reset that is occurring in my heart and my life. And I've opened up, sometimes you guys don't know this, but that was a great sermon on discouragement. And I'm like, do they wonder the hell I'm going through? Who's going to encourage me? And so a lot of what you benefit from the preaching, it's because I've lived it. And so, of course, started at COVID. Being a church in Los Angeles County, my friends just moving and leaving, and then people like, you need to make us wear masks, and we're leaving your church. I'm like, what? Lord, this is like post-traumatic church syndrome. And of course, a lot of pastors went through it, and what's hard for me why it's hard to talk about this is there's so many people going through more challenges than I went through. I think of Alex and his mom that come, and Shaylee and Sage and Rhonda and Dean, and I think it's like during that time, about a year later, my mom died in Idaho, by Boise, Idaho. I got a text. I'm on the front porch. My wife will remember, and she said, "Hey, pray for me. I'm not feeling well." And that's the last I heard from her. And come to find out, they didn't let her, my brother and sister in the emergency waiting room, and they won't let them in because of COVID, to visit her while she's dying, talking to the doctor. And I'm lucky it was a 12-hour drive. I never went there, and just processing that, the stuff that all of us deal with, but it began to compound. Compounding and compounding and compounding. It's not always, it happens a lot, and I wish it didn't happen a lot, but also at a Bible-believing, truth-elevating, Spirit-led church, you have to confront people and just, hey, we love your attitude, but your attitude, and 9 times out of 10, people don't take it well. And they leave, and they start lying about me. He said this, he said that. I'm like, where did you're like completely lying. Pastor Shane got upset, and he kicked me out. He told me never come back, and he slammed the keys on the desk. I'm like, that never happened. Abram was there. Hello? But just ice, and there's just after another. It's like, my goodness. Now, do I contribute to some of the conflict? Of course. We all do. Look in the mirror. But when you get beat up and discouraged, and it's the trick of the enemy, of course, for discouragement. There's a lot of encouraging thing. Here's the irony is, this is an incredible church. It has nothing to do with the people. It just has to do a lot of things that I was going through. The funny thing is, I would never write a book to pastors. The title is, I Almost Quit. When he calls you, you're stuck. Whether it's here, whether it's, wherever he puts you. So we weren't entertaining the idea as far as putting out applications and things like that. Let me find something else to do. It was just that Lord, this is a burden on my heart. And so from that experience now, I can see that he's maybe using that to help other pastors. So as soon as that click, I get a speaking engagement down by San Diego to speak at this pastors conference, and then Salem Radio Network emailed me to go speak at another large one, about 250 pastors in Ohio. They've had John MacArthur, Tony Evans, Jack Graham, and I'm like, what? Who? And the devil beats me up with like, who are you? You didn't even go to seminary, as if that matters, right? As long as you're spending time with God and educating yourself, you got to be educated. I understand that. But he beat me up mentally as well. Maybe all this is trying to push me to do something else. I've shared that. Newsom's term's running up, No. That's not good. I have a feeling that would bring a lot more stress and discouragement. So other things, I don't want to go into a lot of detail. Some of it's private, which will be in the book. Not in a bad way. It's just, to share information later. Another thing was my brother has really become successful in Idaho, developing land and gravel companies and other businesses. And like, hey, if you ever, could use a partner, and I'm like, 15-acre ranch, get my John Deere backhoe back, work the soil. Because what people don't realize is like worshiping and different things, I don't like center stage attention. I don't like people looking at me. I'll sit in the back corner. We always argue about this, and she wins, so we got to sit up front. I'd be back in that back corner of the, just back in the, but God usually will put you where you don't necessarily want to go because you're not puffed up about it. Your greatest weakness could be your greatest strength. And so all these things are compounding and compounding and compounding. There's another issue that really has been a big disappointment. I still don't know what the Lord's going to do with that, so I might not share it right now. But then the final nail in the coffin was, how many of you are getting older? How many of you hit that big 5-0? Balcony, let's be honest. Okay, yeah. So you throw that in there, eyesight fading, now I need font 14. Blood pressure is like 135 over 95. My doctor, hey, you got to get this, hey, this is in check. You got to get this in check. And then just my joints, I couldn't jog anymore. I mean, we start to pile all that on, but church is great. I'm not like going through maybe a midlife crisis a little bit, I guess, but it wasn't like a panic. It wasn't like, oh, it's just like, I can get through this, Lord. But man, I don't know how much more I can handle. And again, I see some of you and you're going through more than I'm going through. And so that's a lot of reason why I don't want to share things, is because it's on the big scale of things. Thank God. Thank God.